Alright, welcome back to Flight Sim 2024 and welcome back to our auctioned aircraft ferry trip. This is going to be leg 2, so we're parked on the ground at Oudtshoorn where we finished the previous episode, and we're going to try and get our auctioned Piper Comanche from here over to Grahamstown. So we're looking at about an hour and a half's flight today. The weather down here hasn't been great, it's been raining, and so it is kind of afternoon, mid-afternoon, and the weather looks okay. It looks it's a little bit of concern because it sort of looked like that earlier, but the clouds seem to be getting thicker and darker again, so we might be up against the weather a little bit, but for the moment it looks like we shouldn't have any really bad issues. We should be able to make it in, but we'll see how things progress. So I think next would be to start doing walk around. Okay, I'm going to turn this on and we'll test all of the lights and the pitot heat. Okay, so flaps, they move nicely. That moves. Landing lights, the nav lights on this aircraft still don't work 100%. That is very interesting. That's coming from the pitot tube, I think. Okay, fuel. We left off with about 75% fuel on the previous leg. That looks alright. Okay, chocks are done. Yeah, that heat blow is coming from the pitot tube. Okay, that means I didn't actually select the fuel tanks. It's good. Oil. Oof. It's quite dark and not all that much left. Fuel on this side. Okay, decent amount in there as well. Chocks are done. Okay, we can definitely tell that this is working because it's absolutely freaking out. Right, that is just so strange. Okay, lights are working. Seems alright. Same with that. No blockages. It's okay. And no tie downs. That's good. Baggage is already in the stuff that we're taking. And let's come down here and switch off the things that we don't need. That is so weird. Should go away now because we've turned it off. Okay, let's go here and go to the checklist. So pre-flight's done, passengers we don't have, seatbelts, control locks removed, parking brake is set. It isn't, it is now set. Gear switch down, it is. Flaps are up. Radios, everything else is off. That's all off. Circuit breakers. All the good. Beacon is on and battery's on already, so let's maybe just close this, lock it. Right, these are both set to off, which is why we had no fuel underneath, so I'm being a little bit lazy by not checking that, but let's see how it goes. Okay, fuel selectors are done, mixture to rich, throttle cracked a little bit, prop full forward, master switch is on, fuel pump on, check for fuel pressure. Okay, we have fuel pressure. Last episode we had some issues with the fuel, with running it without the fuel pump on, I think was the problem. So I might actually have to start with the fuel pump on. because this aircraft, this is the electric fuel pump. It also has a mechanical fuel pump, and I believe the mechanical fuel pump is broken, if I remember correctly. Okay, prime is done, magnetos both. Let's start it up and see what happens. Doesn't sound all that great, does it? Okay, let's just see. If I switch that off, we lose all the fuel pressure. Hey, our alternator seems to be working. That's charging the battery. I was worried about that last time as well. That seems to be okay. Right, oil pressure's coming, or oil pressure's good. We need that oil temperature and cylinder head temperatures to come up. But we can now get the avionics on. Let's get this on. All of these. QNH here today is 1012. Something like that. Absolutely no temperature here. And I think something is wrong there. Should have been seeing something by now. Got a broken sensor or something like that. Ah, no, there it's coming in. Maybe it is just that cold. So I was totally looking at the wrong METAR with QNH 1017. It does say we might have thunderstorms in the area, which we definitely do, and those weren't there 5 minutes ago. We just need the engine to warm up a little bit, and we can have a look at our route. So we are heading east, but we have no GPS on this aircraft, so I reckon we can go southeast to George VOR and then to the Port Elizabeth VOR, and then there we can try and go to Grahamstown, or I might even change the destination to East London, looking at that weather, because East London has a VOR that we can use, whereas Grahamstown does not. weather looks terrible now. We even have lightning. Okay, cylinder temperatures are at least coming up. I'm definitely going to switch that off. Anything else? These should be way down. And then there's another annoying one, this one. Turn that off. Okay. Right, I'm actually going to create this flight on Navigraph so we can have a look at the iPad. Leave the engine to warm up. That's actually perfect. So Oudtshoorn to we'll put in Grahamstown. Great. Navigraph doesn't have Grahamstown. Okay, I think we're gonna go to East London then. Right, so we can go to the VOR at George. Oh, did I just change that? I did, didn't I? Actually want the VOR, not the airport. Okay, add that to route. Cool. Then will be Port Elizabeth is the next VOR. Then over to East London. Okay, so 26 miles, 187 degrees, and George is 116.6. So let's go to Nav1 and do 116.6. Flip that in. And we're going to dial this course to 187. So we can actually call that 190-ish. So that would be there. Oh, I'm using the wrong side. Genius. Like so. Then we just need to check that this actually lines up. So there we are 160. 60, and I guess we're going to try and outrun this storm by going out that way. This doesn't look like a great idea, but we are under a lot of pressure to get this aircraft delivered, so let's see what we can do. There's supposed to be a taxiway here somewhere. Okay, that windsock says we want to take off behind us, so that's runway 22. Actually, what I'm going to do over here, let's just do the run-up. I'm not expecting all that much, to be honest. Okay, temperatures have come up into the green at least. That's a pretty big drop. That's less, so left mag I think is not 100% happy. At this point, it's not even the most concerning part. Check the carb heat. Right. Let's take it to the skies. That is very concerning. It's rain out that way. Not actually picking up the VOR at this point. We need to get out of here before that sets in. Okay, here we go. Okay, 24 on the manifolds. We'll come back to around 24 on the RPM. Okay, I think it's alright, so the gear can come up. We're picking up the VOR now, so that's good. But I think basically we're just going to be heading for this gap here in the weather. If we can make it through there. There's 3,000 feet. Everything feels alright, and the gauges look okay. That is interesting. to hope that that keeps working. I think I'm going to go up to 5.5 here. We should have switched this on. In the previous leg, or in the previous episode, which covered the previous leg, I don't think I actually tested the autopilot. I might do that today. That weather is quite concerning. Coming up to 5,000. I kind of want to head through this way. Okay, Port Elizabeth VR is 112.9. Let's put that on this side and see when we pick that up. Go through that, but it looks like there's a small gap that way. I'm pretty sure what's going to happen at some point is that these two systems are going to close us in. So in reality, I don't think I would be doing this like we are today, but that's the fun of the simulator. Rain all just disappeared. I don't know why Active Sky is doing this. That's the second flight in a row now where weather has just instantly changed like that. If they changed something in an update or if I've done something wrong in the settings, but it's starting to irritate me. Okay, really? You know what I'm gonna do? Let's close active sky and just go for live weather from here and see what we get. No clouds at all. So what on earth was active sky showing us? Why did this go off? Okay, there we go. Now, I think active sky was still shutting down. Right, we do have some scattered showers. And let's stick with that rather. Okay, so going to George, I think, is out. We're going to continue in this direction. And we just need to pick up Port Elizabeth's VOR. I've got that sorted. Right, let's just sort out altitude because the winds have changed completely. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to active sky. I need to actually check that out because I did the next Neofly episode I recorded yesterday. And same thing, we kind of had weather like this, some scattered rain around, going into a bush strip in Papua New Guinea, and just as I was about to turn towards the runway, we ended up just in the middle of a storm. No visibility, heavy rain, lightning, everything. So that's now twice that it's done, and then all of a sudden we went from some scattered clouds to thunderstorms all over to basically no clouds at all. And it never used to do that, so I'm worried that something's changed on my system that I don't know about, but I'm not quite sure what because I haven't fiddled with any settings there. But otherwise we're going along nicely. I'm trying to keep in between the mountains here because I am still conscious of the fact that this plane is probably gonna go bang at some point. We've got some farms along here, which means we have fields to land in. There's a road down there as well. Our 5,500 feet I think is working nicely because we're just staying under that layer of cloud. Rain on that side, rain on that side. I've turned off the like moving map thing on Navigraph, so I'm just using the instruments inside the plane to navigate. So I've got Navigraph so I can check frequencies and things like that, but no aircraft indicator on the map. I'm just using the map like you would an old paper map, basically. Okay, maybe this is a good time to test out the autopilot. So let's just get back to 5,500 exactly. There's the coast there. Right, I'm gonna turn landing lights off at this point. The mixture off as well. Autopilot. It seems to be working. Still a couple of options below us if we need. So I think sticking in this belt of farmland here is going to work nicely. There's a nice road down there. George's frequency is 1165, sorry, 1166. So we stick that in there. See that shift. I'm trying to work out, what is this? Oh, this is ADF only. There are no other beacons along here. Rain off to this side. That gap in the coast there, I'm pretty sure that that's Neisner. Still a couple of places to land on this side, so we're good there. I don't know if those clouds are getting lower. The terrain is definitely getting higher. It's starting to feel like, well, you might be clipping the bottom of these clouds soon. And it looks like we have some rain directly ahead of us as well. Instruments look good. All the engine gauges look fine. Starting to get a little darker here now. which side of this rain do we go? Thinking right. Okay, autopilot works. There's a road down there. Not that many flat areas here anymore. There's a little town here. Looking at the map, I think this is Aventure. It's quite an interesting shaped dam. Is there a river below us? There's a road. Oh well, we'll figure out where we are just now. Further down this valley is Haarlem. I think Haarlem's town is much longer. And there's a whole bunch of dams after it, which is we're seeing now. Okay, cool. So we just passed Haarlem, so we're a little bit further than I first thought. We can actually follow this highway all the way along if we want. And other side here, in a little bit, the mountains are going to open up to our left-hand side. So we won't be so boxed in. Let's just head a little bit to the left here. Let's stay down this valley. Something like that. Okay, fuel consumption looking good since we pulled the mixture back. Our fuel flow has come down quite a bit. Right, radios, everything is set, so we've still got George over there. I might as well flip this over, to be honest. to East London, because we don't really need George anymore. We're already way past that. So 1129. Cool, and we'll see when we pick up George there. No, why do I keep saying George? Port Elizabeth. 1129. And then I don't think we're going to risk trying to get into Grainstown with all this weather around. So I'm going to put in East London here. So 114.5. So we'll see when we pick that one up over there. Engine. Everything seems to be in the green. Ooh, it wants some trim, but I didn't see which way. Nose up. I think we are losing power. Look where that is now. And it's going down. Let's put in a bit of mixture and see what happens. Look at our speed is dropping as well. Temperature's pretty low outside. Aha, we had carb icing. See it running rough like that. Mixture's coming up again. Now we've burnt it all off. That's the first time I've actually had proper carb icing in the Comanche, so we'll keep an eye on that. We're just gonna skirt past the edge of this weather here. That's an interesting shaft of rain. Okay, speed's coming back up again. It's crazy that that was kind of happening as I happened to be looking at the mixture, doing the Frida check. Thank you to the person who commented on my previous video. That was actually flying the Comanche on the Australia to South Africa series, and someone commented to remember to do the Frida checks. Okay, engine, otherwise everything looks good. Mixture, RPMs. Just gonna have a little bit of rain here for a minute or so, and then we should be out of it again. Okay, fuel pressure. Right now it wants to trim down as we've gained speed again, so that makes sense. Oil temperature's fine. Cylinder head temperature's fine. Okay, direction, we're all good. We're just heading east. Roughly east. We're following these mountains and waiting to pick up Port Elizabeth VOR, which is 112.9. 112.9. Cool. Altimeter. Now, this is where not having active sky becomes a bit of an issue, is getting the altimeter. So let me actually just look. I think we'll take Port Elizabeth's altimeter. That's probably not a bad idea. So FAPE. Altimeter there is currently 1015. So we can adjust that. like so. Cool. Okay, I'm keeping an eye on that fuel flow. So I feel like it might be going down again. The temperature outside, we're looking at like 2 degrees, maybe 1 degree. Okay, it doesn't seem to have made much of a difference. Right, we just picked up a PE briefly, and it's disappeared again. It's obviously signal over the mountain, so that does kind of make sense. It should be just off to our right, like kind of over there. Weather seems to be improving actually, which does make sense because all the weather was more Cape Town side, so we're moving away from it. This looks like a little airstrip down there. Yeah. It's good to know. That means we're just passing Jobatina. So we're actually making pretty good progress. We're not too far from Port Elizabeth now. We're pretty much bang on halfway between George and PE. Right, and we are picking up the Port Elizabeth VOR now. So something else I should do, let's make this easy, is line that up on 13. And that's on 14. Let's do it this way. Okay, so we actually want to be there. Looks like we might have to go through a bit of weather here. Unless we swing out this way, I guess. Oh, that is definitely not what I wanted. That's why I always try to remember to set this back. I'm gonna have to recalibrate that now. Right, let's go back here. That's now 190. Which is there. Okay, sorted. That there, I believe, is Plettenberg Bay. Okay, so on a direct line from George to PE, we would have been 119 radial to Port Elizabeth VOR. Crossing over the mountains here. All seems fine. And I guess we just stay along the coast. We've lost signal to the Port Elizabeth VOR again, probably because of these mountains. Once we get out here, we should pick it up again. Okay, temperature's still pretty low. Let's just check carb icing again. Might have actually been a little bit, because this creeped up ever so slightly. Picking up the VR once more. It's actually running quite nicely. I mean, we still have a broken fuel pump, but other than that, it's going pretty smoothly. I probably shouldn't say that, but it is the truth. Now we get into the forests, which is going to make landing areas a bit more difficult to find. Like, look at this, all on this side is just forest. There's some farmland up ahead. There's a couple of roads, but they don't look like they're going to be straight for long enough to use for landing. Not much of a beach either. It's that thick forest all the way up to the coast. this big dam in front of us. Alright, I found that on the map. Should be a town up here, in there somewhere, called Carriedo. It should be there somewhere. Feels good. Fuel flow is still fine. We've got just under 3 hours, 2 hours 44 on board. Frequency is 112.9. Cool. Once we catch up to that radial, we'll go into nav mode and see if that works. Right, then engine stuff is looking fine. Everything's in the green. Cylinder head temperatures are quite low, but they are green. And mind you, it is only 1 degree outside. Direction is good. We're heading roughly southeast, and we're going to pick up that 110 degree radial towards Port Elizabeth just now, and then QNH 1015. We're expecting that to be updated in about 25 minutes. So that means Jeffrey's Bay is here somewhere. Little town there. It's got no name though on Navigraph, so I'm not sure exactly what it's called. Okay, still plenty of farmland around. Now, in reality, there's a massive wind farm along this side. Here. Oh yes, you can actually see them. So in there, and then I think it's about there somewhere. But you can see the turbines. There we go. Very cool. clouds have cleared quite a bit. There's still some around, but high enough to not bother us. No rain around either. There you can see all the wind turbines. Almost on that radial, then we can go into nav mode. More wind turbines. Wow, look at the rain out over the ocean there. Anything up ahead? Looks okay at the moment. But back that way, there's some more scattered rain showers. Right, we're on our radial, so we're actually going to go over the ocean a bit here. Feels good. 234 endurance. Radios are set correctly. We're obviously not using ATC, so I'm just checking the nav radios. Right, engine stuff still looks fine. In the green, fuel flow is good. Direction's fine. We're pretty much aiming straight towards Port Elizabeth now, or in fact we are because of the VOR. And altimeter 1015. We won't have had a update on that yet. No. So still 1015. Okay, this is Jeffrey's Bay down here. That is the town of Humansdorp, with the another wind farm just out here. We need to do a bit of alignment here. Something like that. East London meds on. Cav OK. Winds 220 at 11. And QNH 1015. Once we are overhead Port Elizabeth. Oh, look at the rain out there. If that looks really bad, I was actually thinking about this just now. If that looks really bad, we might just land at Port Elizabeth, or to save money, we could land at Progress Airstrip, which is just kind of west. That looks like it runs all the way across there. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. What I was gonna say is, once we're overhead Port Elizabeth, it is the 93-degree radial to East London that we want. wondering if I should just land here at Progress. I'm gonna have to descend now because of these clouds. So we'd have to go to 3.5. Gonna back off the power a bit. There's 4.5, so 1,000 feet to go. See, there's a big storm there, and there's some marine all the way out there. Now we need to get through that. And going up this way is gonna add a long time to the flight if we have to do that. I think I'm gonna land it at Progress. Right, so now we just need to find it. So this is Maitland Rivermouth over here, which is actually one of the VIPs for... I keep wanting to say Pretoria, it's Port Elizabeth. So we need to follow this. Once we get to Maitland, we can go kind of north-northwest and look for the big highway junction. And that's pretty close to the airstrip. prop forward again. Sea view down there, which is also a VRP for Port Elizabeth. Right, well now we need to spot this big highway junction. And in fact, I think I might actually see the runway straight ahead of us. That's the highway junction there. Okay, elevation 740. Is 2,600 feet. Doubt that we're going to be able to see a windsock from here. It probably hasn't even spawned in at this distance. There it is. Is that a windsock? No, it's not. Stage of flaps. Okay, coming down. Extra full. Landing lights. Flaps. No, we're okay. last stage of flaps. Strobe lights. That didn't sound good. Right, let's turn the fuel pump off. Avionics off. All of these can come off. I probably should have done this first, actually. That can go to off. Why does it feel like we're sliding backwards? Okay, that's worrying. I think it's just the FS realistic. Right, that's all good. We can turn these off. That's the other thing. That's good, that's good. Okay, so we're not at Grahamstown, which is where I said we were going. We're also not at East London, which was where I said we were actually going. But we have stopped off at Progress Airstrip, just outside of Port Elizabeth. But it is starting to get later in the afternoon, and I think just looking at the weather towards East London, it's going to become a bit of an issue. And we did a good, nice hour-and-a-half flight, so that's pretty decent. So in the next episode, we will carry on from here at Progress, and we'll go a bit further than East London. Probably we'll probably aim for something like Port St John's, or maybe even Pietermaritzburg. But we shall see. But for today, that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. I'm actually quite impressed. The aircraft is flying fine. Autopilot and everything worked flawlessly. It's just that fuel pump issue that if anything goes with the electrics and we lose that electric fuel pump, we are going to have no engine. So today's flight was pretty relaxed and pretty chilled, but there's still always the possibility that something goes wrong. But anyway, that's going to bring us to the end of today's video. If you made it all the way to this point, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you do want to follow along, you know what to do, and I'll see you in the next one.